Hello and welcome back as we read the book of Esther. Today we are on chapter 6. Hopefully you've been following along and getting some of the main ideas, at least, from the story of Esther and her purpose. And it's really quite amazing how God takes something and turns it around to really show favor to people who honor him. All right, let's dive in. Mordecai honored. So if you remember last time, Haman was not very happy because Mordecai wasn't bowing to him, and he had just left the first banquet with Queen Esther, and his wife suggested, well, since Mordecai is not bowing to you, let's build these gallows and ask the king to throw Mordecai on them. And that made Haman happy. So that's where the last chapter left off. So this was after the first banquet. That night, the king could not sleep. Sounds like God was doing something. So he ordered the book of the Chronicles, the record of his reign, to be brought in and read to him. It was found recorded there that Mordecai had exposed Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, who had conspired to assassinate King Xerxes. So this was back in chapter 2, if you remember that. It's a small section that talked about Mordecai uncovering and hearing about the conspiracy of these two to kill the king. And he told Esther, and Esther told the officials, and it was written in this book, and those two were killed because of their plot to kill the king. All right. So King Xerxes says, "What honor and recognition has Mordecai received for this?" the king asked. "Nothing has been done for him," his attendants answered. The king said, "Who is in the court?" Now Haman had just entered the outer court of the palace to speak to the king about hanging Mordecai on the gallows that he had just erected. His attendants answered, "Haman is standing in the court." Interesting timing, isn't it? God knows all and sees all. "Bring him in," the king ordered. When Haman entered, the king asked him, "What should be done for the man the king delights to honor?" Haman's thinking this is about him. Now Haman thought to himself, "Who is there that the king would rather honor than me?" So he answered the king, for the man the king delights to honor, have them bring a royal robe the king has worn, and a horse the king has ridden, one with a royal crest on its head. Then let the robe and horse be entrusted to one of the king's most noble princes. Let them robe the man the king delights to honor and lead him on the horse through the city streets, proclaiming before him, 'This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor.'" "Go at once," said the king, and commanded Haman, "Get the robe and the horse and do just as you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew, who sits at the king's gate. Do not neglect anything you have recommended." So Haman got the robe and the horse. I couldn't imagine how he went and got those things, considering now he has to honor the very person he wanted to kill. So he got the robe and the horse. He robed Mordecai and led him on the horseback through the city streets, proclaiming before him, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor." I wonder how he said that. I wonder if it was more like, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor," instead of how he wished it would have been said about him. Nonetheless, afterward, Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman rushed home, and with his head covered in grief, he told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends everything that had happened to him. His adversaries and his wife Zeresh said to him, "Since Mordecai, before whom your downfall has started, is of Jewish origin, you cannot stand against him. You will surely come to ruin." While they were still talking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried Haman away to the banquet Esther had prepared. That's where that chapter ends. Isn't that quite a turn of events, right? Haman wants to kill Mordecai, and now Haman is asked by the king how to honor the person that has really saved the king's life. Haman gives this big spiel about how he thinks he himself should be honored, not realizing that it's for the very person he wants to kill. It's just amazing turn of events. And then he has to go do it. He has to be the one to parade Mordecai around on the streets and say, this is what happens with a person the king wants to honor. How crazy is that? God is so good, isn't he? Just amazing. So when we think things are just going horrible, God does this really cool thing about turning something beautiful out of ashes. It's a good thing to remember. All right, I look forward to sharing the next chapter with you. God bless you and have a beautiful day.